more power.
Right.
We have more power than men do in every instance. And if we get pregnant, we can still get an abortion where men have no say in that.
And if the child is born, you can put it up for adoption.
Yeah.
That's not a man doesn't have a say. A man doesn't have a say in whether or not.
And so I don't know how you
men generally don't have a say. The woman has a say.
But it just doesn't make any sense
because the way the law works.
It's still going to be the guy's responsibility as well, like, and the girls, both of them individually.
I'm not saying as a man that we don't have responsibility. I'm not taking responsibility off the man. I'm saying you got to protect your womb. You are head of security for your own vagina, right? Because we know that push comes to shove, you're left with a baby. A guy could run he could dip out.
Which is why girls are more selective when choosing partners traditionally, right?
Exactly. I'm saying that's why it's on you, because I'm not condoning men like running away from their responsibilities, by the way. But I'm saying worst comes to worst, it's on you, girl. It's not on me. I can dip out. So that's why I said women have to now start vetting the men that are coming inside them.
It's a smart choice to vet, yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. Justin, it looked like you wanted to say a lot earlier.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just thinking, like, so I've gotten ex-girlfriends of mine pregnant, not just once, like many times, and every single time it's like 100% been my fault, right? I was like young or drunk or just like being unsafe, or I trusted what the woman was telling me. One time, I had a 1-8 stand in Australia, and she told me she was on birth control. Turns out she was lying, right? Or I had an ex-girlfriend who told me she has a medical issue and she can't get pregnant, and she actually got pregnant, and every single one of them got abortions. But regardless, it was not just traumatic for me, it was traumatic for them, obviously. But in the end, it was completely my fault because I was being young and dumb and reckless.
Well, I'm going back to how many women you've had abortions, but I'm like, my head is spinning as to how many women you've had.
But you've also just held yourself accountable to all of that.
I don't think it's entirely my fault, right? And from a different perspective, you can say it was completely theirs.
You just completely held yourself accountable, and I
don't not believe in accountability. Like, I think that's great. I just think at this point in time, like, women have more power when it comes to reproduction.
I do agree,
and so that's why
because they're the only ones that have wombs.
Right, exactly. So be careful who you let inside there, because I don't have a womb, and all the women here do. Right, so. If all the women here have wombs, they have to be more careful because, like I said, worst comes to worst. You were saying you got drunk and you had sex with this girl, but she let you inside her, drunk.
And she lied.
And she told me she was on birth control.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, she had more power in that situation because she got to pick if she was on birth control or not. And then she was able to lie to you and basically trick you.
It's true.
And so, like, how can you say you had more power in that situation?
I think I should have known better. She was a stranger, right? Like, she was a complete stranger. I just met this girl, right? I don't remember her name.
And so what's stopping me from having intercourse with a girl and saying I've had a vasectomy?
Nothing.
So that which completely shifts that power balance.
Because one is more accessible than the other. One is much more accessible than the other.
The 41 forms of birth control you speak of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's more accessible.
That's more accessible, and you don't have to get surgery to get it.
There are a lot of side effects to birth control, though, especially hormonal. Especially if you kind of have predisposition to hormonal imbalance, it can cause a lot of negative side effects. Even the non-hormonal ones can cause really a lot of pain, like a lot of discomfort and that sort of thing. So the choice to not be on birth control can actually be attributed to the fact that there's a lot of difficulty with being on birth control.
I understand that, and I'm not discounting that. Like, I think there's a lot of reasons to not be on birth control, but my thing is, like, we have more power when it comes to reproduction, because even if you do get pregnant, who has the power to get an abortion? We do. And even if we have the kid, who has the power to give it up for adoption? We do. And even if we keep the kid, who has the power to get a guy on child support? We do. And then who also has the option to get married to the guy and then leave and take half? We do. So, like, when it comes to reproduction, we just
men don't have much power when it comes to reproduction.